Hello everyone and welcome back to Noia Dev, the series that aims to prove that one developer can create a successful MMO RPG. My name is Dane and this week on Noia Dev we're talking about mobile games. My game, which is mobile. Anyway, it's always been the plan to release Noia on as many platforms as possible, and that includes phones. Back in September of 2023, I released the first mobile client for Noia. There were two major things that separated the mobile client from the PC and web clients: the skill hotbar and how the player moved. Movement was solved really easily thanks to Unity's input system and a $10 virtual thumbstick package from the Unity Asset Store. The Unity input system picked up on the thumbstick controller out of the box and voila, mobile movement solved. The next major obstacle was the player skill bar. The PC skill bar is much too small for someone to try and press with their thumbs, so I went searching for how other successful mobile games implement their hotbars. Enter MapleStory M. Once you get past the blinding full screen advertisements and horrible predatory monetization screens, there is a well-designed UI here. Maple M has one primary skill button, a jump button that we don't care about, and 4 auxiliary skill buttons. The player can press this swap button here to swap these 5 buttons between 2 separate sets, allowing for 10 skill buttons in total. I am saying buttons a whole lot. This system works great for Noia. The PC client has 10 hotbar buttons and the mobile client will get 2 sets of 5. It's perfect. So that's what we got. And that was all the differences between the mobile and PC clients up until today. Only recently did someone start giving feedback on the mobile client. The player, Hungry Man, on the Noia Discord, gave some very good feedback. Most importantly, all the other UI icons are still really small. And I would have said just increase the UI size in the settings window if those buttons were actually large enough to press on the mobile device in the first place. Look at this. This is me trying to increase the default UI size on my phone. Okay, point taken, the default UI size is way too small on mobile. I have an auto sizer script that was supposed to scale the UI up on first launch, and that clearly wasn't working, so I decided to just set the UI to 1.5 times on first launch on mobile devices. Much better. I'm not entirely sure why my phone isn't giving me a full-sized keyboard to log in with. I'll have to figure that one out later, I guess. Moving on, the next piece of feedback was that the menu buttons and inventory window were still too small, so those gotta rework as well. The inventory window now stretches to the full window height and the inventory tiles are all made much bigger. And the menu was replaced by this standard 3-bar icon. Selecting it will expand a large panel with all the various menu items as expected. And last but not least was chat. Chat was gone in the mobile client. I just didn't have anywhere to put it. The left side was a thumbstick, the right side was hotkeys. Where am I supposed to put the chat window? Well, again, I followed Maple M's example, and it's hidden until the player taps the chat icon. Then it's full screen. I'm not super happy with how this works in Maple M. It is functional, but while chat is up, the player can't really do anything. So instead, in Noia, I made the chat window transparent. So at the very least, the player can still see. I am worried that players will still miss pieces of chat going on when they're trying to play. We still have the player speech bubbles, but I might make it so maybe one line of most recent chat gets displayed down here and you can press on that to open the full screen window. We'll see how it goes. But if you guys want to test out the Android mobile client now, you can download it from the itch.io page, link down in the description. And if you guys have any feedback, be sure to leave a comment, or better yet, join the Discord and leave your feedback there. Moving on, let's talk about the progress on the Deep Forest map. Mr. Fox has given me these awesome attack animations, and I've been working to get them in the game and attached to their various animation controllers, as well as create some monster skills that would go with them. I'm particularly happy with the red jellies spinning attack here, as it looks like it's flinging these red lightning balls at the player. A small change, but one you'll definitely notice if it wasn't there, is that now the damage pop-up lines are staggered. Before, if a monster or player was damaged more than once at the same frame, all the damage lines would would just be bunched up together. Now the damage numbers are queued and released at a set rate, so it looks a lot better. And there's a good reason for this, because players might start getting hit by multiple attacks at once. Up until now, there have been very few attacks that would stay with the intended target. Most attacks that had these glowing indicators attached to them are able to be avoided. Well, that's going to be changing. You see, just because something is indicated now doesn't mean that the target of the attack is meant to avoid it. Sometimes it's meant as an indicator for everyone else to avoid that player. This is a mechanic that I loved to see in Final Fantasy XIV. Bosses would drop these huge attacks on individual players and they would all scatter trying to get out of the way of the attack, only to realize that the attack is following them. Now it isn't a matter of getting out of the attack, it's making sure that none of the circles catch their teammates more than once. My only complaint with this is there was no real indication which attacks would follow the player and which were going to stay put. You just kind of had to know, and Noia is kind of following that same line of thinking at the moment as well. If you guys have some cool boss attacks or mechanics that you'd like to see in Noia, let me know down in the comments. And that's it for this week. I am really happy with the progress that's been made on the mobile UI, even though I'm not really one to play mobile games, so I really do rely on your guys' feedback for changes that need to be made in the future. For next week's devlog, I've got a whole bunch of notes written down for different NPCs and quest ideas for Noia's first town, and I would like to have a rough draft of that in the game for you guys to see for next week. All that being said, I gotta get back to work, so see you next time. Bye.